Try not to mess up as much, Junior, because woo! Pokemon Sword and Shield has currently 400 Pokemon to catch, battle, and trade. It is not yet known if more Pokemon will be available to us, but there is data that shows more Pokemon are inside of the game's code for future releases. With that many Pokemon, there are only a handful of Pokemon that can achieve the Gigantamax form. So the Gigantamax form is an alternate form that a Pokemon takes once they Dynamaxed. I'll be going over all the possible Gigantamax Pokemon and ranking them based on their design and their design alone. We got 26 Pokemon to go over, so let's not waste any time. My name is JuniorAlexanderLeiva, aka Mr. Awesome, and this is my ranking for Pokemon Sword and Shield's Gigantamax Pokemon. Starting off this list is an honorable mention, mainly because this isn't a Gigantamax Pokemon that you can catch. Gigantamax Eternatus is considered a boss in the series where you can only witness its Gigantamax form once in the game. Once you capture Eternatus, it is unable to Gigantamax in battle. It is the battle you face alongside the game's legendaries and is only brought out for story purposes. Nonetheless, this apocalypse bringing Pokemon gets an honorable mention on the list. Last on this list is Pokemon's mascot Pikachu. Why would this cute and adorable historical gaming icon get the lowest ranking, you say? Well, it's because Pikachu got a free pass in the Gigantamax list, and there's little to no change between the Gigantamax form and the basic form. It is only thick. The reason for this change is to reference Pikachu's original design in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, but to be honest, they could have done way better than this change. I mean, they have 400 Pokemon after all, and it felt kind of wasted to put Pikachu just to make this basically Chunkachu. It was honestly disappointing to me despite understanding where the design comes from. Also, Chunkachu's voice is very unfitting. Next on the ranking is Eevee. Apparently, Pokemon's new mascot, alongside Pikachu. Ever since Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Eevee has been receiving the same love and care that the Pokemon's mascot, Pikachu, has been receiving. However, Eevee received the same exact treatment as Pikachu in its Gigantamax form. Eevee's just more fluffier, which is cute, don't get me wrong, but that's it. The shiny form of Eevee makes it a bit interesting. I can't see it getting a higher ranking on this list because all they did was give it more fluff. So, sorry Eevee. You're still cute though. Someone explain to me what the fuck am I looking at? Holy Jesus, what the hell happened to you, Crabby? Did Misty abandon you? Crabby's Gigantamax is something that looks like Frankenstein wanted to make a Santa Claus and a Cthulhu hybrid. And wow, this is absolutely the worst way to make a Gigantamax Pokemon. It's kind of hard to look at, but at the very least, it's different unlike the previously mentioned Pokemon. Despite the nightmare fuel you're looking at, it's still a differently designed Pokemon. I'll be seeing you in my nightmares, Gigantamax Crabby. I'll be seeing you there. Korbinite has an awesome design and a nice addition to the Pokemon series. So why would you make no difference in its Gigantamax form? All it did was to learn to spread its wings more. If this is it, Game Freak should have just gave Korbinite a normal Dynamax form and gave a Gigantamax form to another Pokemon. Yes, you know, there are red streaks going along Korbinite's feathers, but that's such a minor change that I was generally staring at the photo of Korbinite for what it felt like an hour and didn't even notice. At least with Mega Evolution, there was noticeable changes with each Pokemon that was capable of doing it. Gigantamax Korbinite is just like a filler Gigantamax in my opinion. Like, you know those filler episodes from the Pokemon anime? We're getting up to the part of the list now where the Pokemon listed have subtle changes, as opposed to little to no change at all. Butterfree is a Gen 1 favorite, and has a subtle change in its Gigantamax form. Its wing shape and overall design has gotten a much prettier change. It's alright for a Gigantamax form, but it's nothing to brag about. Still better than Chunkachu. That's why it received its ranking on the list. I do have to say though, that this version of Butterfree reminds me of the female Butterfree from the Pokemon anime episode Goodbye Butterfree. Moment of silence for those that cried watching that episode. I didn't cry. I don't even think I watched it. Sandaconda? More like Beyblade Aconda. Sandaconda takes shape of a sandstorm in its Gigantamax form. However, it is not completely different from its original form. In this form, Sandaconda is shown in a more upright position and has a sandstorm around it. It is more of a sand tornado, but I kinda dig it. Get it? Because, you know, it's a ground type Pokemon, and it's a subtle change that didn't need so much to begin with, so, you know what, just, good job, Game Freak. Kudos to you. Yes. Okay, guys. I got an idea for a Gigantamax Pokemon. You ready for this? Because this is mind-blowing. Treadna. But standing up. No, but seriously, apart from Pokemon being able to stand on 2 feet, Treadna has a bit of subtle changes with it. It is more spikier like an anime character's hair. It has a tougher look to it, which is what I expect, you know, a tough Pokemon to be. I expect him to look even more tough. You know, tough like the people that drink their coffee without cream or sugar. Orbeetle is ready to take you to its home planet. Its Gigantamax form provided itself with a spaceship on its back because it's just out of this world. It's a pretty dope design in my opinion because it's pretty subtle, but sticks with its theme of being a Pokemon that looks like an alien. It reminds me of the Ultra Beast from Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So, Orbeetle takes its spot in the ranking for its hunchback spaceship from another dimension. Snorlax combines the concept of Torterra by having an entire fucking civilization on its stomach. Talk about lazy. Snorlax must have slipped into the biggest coma ever for trees and mushrooms to be created on its stomach. It defies all logic, and I feel like the more I think about it, the more it will upset me. It's a nice idea, yes, but I feel like it's out of place for a Snorlax. It just, no. The idea is already known for grass starters like Bulbasaur and Torterra, where it already has trees and grass on its body. So this is not at all impressive to me. However, it does remind me of the Mushroom Kingdom, specifically from the Grandeur Super Mario Odyssey. Colossal is essentially the rock titan from, you know, Disney's Hercules. It's big, it looks like a mountain, and it's designed to kill. However, its design is a better version of its basic form because it has lava on the inside of its body, and it even has a sharper mountain-like shape. When I look at this, I think of the Rock Titan boss in Kingdom Hearts 3. You know, when it's raining and dark and you're running up to its body to hit it in the face with your Keyblade. Centiskorch is a firebug Pokemon that takes more of a Chinese dragon look to it. It is surprising that the Pokemon isn't a dragon type, considering that it looks more like a dragon than it does look like a bug. Despite that, the Gigantamax form is a pretty dope looking form, and even has a nice little pose showing off its snake-like body. If only its shiny form looked more different. Copperage's Gigantamax form takes the shape of Squidward's house from SpongeBob. The large nose becomes even larger and is used to slam opponents flat. This is a huge change to the Pokemon being more of an elephant look. It's kind of funny to look at, which is something I appreciate, oddly enough. Not all Pokemon have to be this tough looking, okay? You know, some of them could look like this. You know, maybe I want a Thwomp for a Pokemon. Huh? Has anyone ever considered that? No one ever considers Thwomp as a Pokemon. It also has a tiny tail on its back, and it's quite adorable. It's kind of cute. You know what? I should have ranked this higher. Flapple's design looks like a combination between Yoshi and the dragon from Dragon Roost Island in the Wind Waker. You know, that Legend of Zelda game that no one liked back in the early 2000s. The apple is in its shell, and it looks pretty comfy in it. Come on now, little guy. It's alright. It's gonna be a little safe. Its shiny form turns into a green apple, which is nice to know that they decided to be consistent with their apple colors. Appleton is next on the list, but it looks exactly like Flapple's Gigantamax form. I don't know why they decided to make it the same, but at least it has a different voice than Flapple. There's not much to say aside from being identical, but at least you're not missing much if you don't have one or the other. Meowth is 10th on this ranking because of its slinky-like body and its Gigantamax form. It takes away from the tough-looking theme of Gigantamaxing, and it kind of goes into a more comedic look, which is something nice for a change. And as I said before, not all Gigantamax Pokemon have to be menacing and tough. You know, some of them could be just like Meowth. Meowth hasn't struck me as a tough Pokemon to begin with, mainly because it's used as a mascot for Team Rocket, so it's kind of like a joke. It would have been hard to make Meowth look tough when all we see it as is a Pokemon that just gets blasted off again. Good job, Game Freak, for knowing Meowth's place in the Pokemon game and making it more funny looking. Fun fact, when I first saw this Gigantamax form, I thought this was fan art. No, it was real. It was very real. And it's in the game. Gengar, one of Zabray's favorite Pokemon, is one of the most interesting Pokemon to have a Gigantamax form. It turns into a house of horror, with its mouth being the entrance. It's ready to swallow your soul, and the entire stadium with it. It's more of a terrifying look, which is what Gengar is all about. Gengar is a nightmare Pokemon. So, you know, move over, Darkrai. You're not even in this game. You were cut from the list, so get out of here. Its shiny form is even more terrifying. So it's definitely something you might want to go after if you have the time to hunt for a shiny Gigantamax. Machamp's Gigantamax is ready to take on Incineroar in a wrestling match. The wrestling belt gets larger, it has killer eyes, and it's screaming with energy and rage. This form is another subtle form, but to be honest, it didn't need much changing anyways. Machamp is jacked as it is already, and how are you gonna make it even more jacked? Give it more arms? That would have been excessive at this point, and the way they presented it in this game was pretty good. Garbodor, the trash Pokemon, has a Gigantamax that isn't so trash. It reminds me of the boss battle in Kingdom Hearts 3 when you get to Toy Story's world. If you didn't know, the plane on its body in its Gigantamax form is a reference to Latios and Latias with the red and blue planes. The Latios place can be seen on its standard Gigantamax form, and the Latios plane can be seen in its shiny form. It's a nice little touch, and I like it. Also, it has a cute little train for the tail. Or did a train just get stuck into its butt? Alcremie is cake time. She transforms into a giant cake, which is a huge change from what it is already. It's ready to spew frosting all over the battlefield, which is something I should have said in my head and not aloud where my whole neighborhood can hear me. Great. Don't get me wrong though, it's cute, adorable, and literally sweet. What is there more to ask out of this Gigantamax form? Remember, this is based off design. If I were to like judge this Pokemon as it is, I don't like Alcremie. That leech seed type of move it has is big trash. Just throwing that out there. You know who you are, who you've been using it. Had Trini Gigantamax form, looks like it went inside of a giant mech. It sort of looks like the villain from the Power Rangers. You know, when they get beat up and they decide to go bigger, only to get blown up by the Ranger's mech. It does look more like a witch in this form, and the big hat is the icing on the cake. Just not Alcremie's cake. Charizard is number 4 on this list, and it honestly could have been higher. It is in this ranking because I'm in a constant battle between Gigantamax form and Mega Evolution. The designs for Mega Charizard X and Y made Charizard look more of a badass than it already is. And Charizard has a simple design, so Mega Evolution took it a step above. The Gigantamax form of Charizard honestly just made me miss Mega Evolution. It has fire for wings, which is a nice idea, but it reminds me of Moltres, which I find to be the ugliest out of the 3 legendary birds. Fire for wings is something Pokemon needs help working on. Lapras takes the number 3 spot on this list because it somehow found a way to have both a subtle and drastic change between forms. Music notes swirl around the Pokemon. Its eyes turn into a brighter blue, which gives it that Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan look. You know that one, the one that's on screen right now. It has this flute thing on its back, and overall it just looks like the Pokemon that wants to put on a musical performance for me. So nice job, Lapras. I appreciate your design. It's time to rock and roll with Toxtricity. This electric poison type Pokemon is a runner-up on this list for its heavy metal that gets out of control in its Gigantamax form. The electricity is overflowing with this Pokemon, and it's ready to rock the house down with its electric guitar. It swings its guitar around and is all around wild and can't be controlled. Simply awesome, you know? And at number 1 is Grimsnarl, aka
Satan.
This Gigantamax Pokemon is the final boss of a Final Fantasy game, and you know it. And I've never played Final Fantasy. Its animations look like it's just too powerful, and it has no time to fight against weaklings like you. If you have a Gigantamax Grimsnarl and a shiny Gigantamax Grimsnarl, you essentially have a heaven versus hell battle, since shiny Grimsnarl makes it look more like an angel than a demon. You know what? Grimsnarl is your god now. Move over, Arceus. Grimsnarl is our god. Alright guys, thank you guys for watching my Pokemon Sword and Shield Gigantamax list. I know some of you guys may not agree with some of these choices, but hey, that's what the comments are there for. So do me a favor, go down below and rank all your Gigantamax Pokemon. Shoutouts to the members for sponsoring this channel. Without them, there would literally be no pizza on my pepperoni. So shoutouts to you guys. And also shoutouts to the awesome people that are wearing the Mr. Awesome merch. You guys look very sexy. Despite the fact there's only 2 of you, I appreciate seeing you guys at the end of every video. If you guys enjoy these Pokemon videos, check out Pokemon Sword and Shield Gym Leaders Ranked. Because you know what? Why not? Why not? I have more ranking videos and more Pokemon videos down the pipeline. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, stay golden. Bye!